This podcast is supported by Music Theater of Wenatchee, celebrating 64 years of bringing stories to life. From show-stopping musicals to powerful plays, the Music Theater of Wenatchee stage is where stories come alive. Now they are writing the next chapter, and you can help make it happen. To support the next act of community theater in Wenatchee, visit annex.mtow.org and donate today.
Opening night club.
We're not opening a nightclub.
It's the opening night club. We can't wait to watch an opening night show, because on opening night we always go with our opening night club. Opening night club.
Welcome to the Opening Night Club. This is the podcast where we get together as a club. We get together every week to discuss and celebrate all of the opening night theater around Central Washington. I'm your host, Kevin McKee, and with me again tonight is author, playwright, actor, and raconteur, my friend Skyler Cuthill. How you doing, Skyler?
I am doing great, Kevin. I've got my big 5-day break between shows, so I am living it up.
There you go, man. Actually, all three of you finished The Shark is Broken, and now you've got to get into 1776.
Yes.
Yeah, we're recording this right before our first rehearsal. Yeah. I know that Adam Eagle has an enormous role in 1776.
John Adams kind of is the show.
Is the show.
He's the guy.
He's got all the songs. He's got all the dialogue.
Yeah.
And Adam, this is a short rehearsal period. He's got to have everything memorized and performance ready when we start. He had 5 days after a show to have everything ready.
In the show 1776, John Adams is kind of portrayed as like the rogue evil genius behind American independence.
Yeah.
And I've gotten 2 books now about American independence to like inform my historical take on it. And it's been useful because, I mean, like we learned a little bit of the stuff in high school or whatever, but I didn't do American independence in college or in my my postgraduate degree or whatever. This is not true. John Adams was not the single person that invented American independence. He had a lot of allies, right? And most of them were pro-independence to some degree. And then once like the Germans showed up, they came over. The other ones who were not pro-independence initially. Once like the mercenaries showed up, they went, oh my gosh, this is like real, right? But, you know, a musical theater, this is a kind of a common character type or whatever, like in Gypsy, Mama Rose, right? This kind of this engine, right? Like one character who's going to make it happen with like sheer force of will. And that's John Adams in the show.
Can I tell you one thing?
What's that?
Yeah, I read an article in the New York Times a week ago, and basically two years ago, they found papers from John Dickinson that he had written to the Crown, like in 74, 75, trying to come up with a way, how do we resolve this?
Yes.
Peacefully.
Yeah.
Right? And this like showed up in somebody's papers. They hadn't seen it before. And it was like in 2024, this shows up. And in it, like there are papers that John Adams was talking about how awful John Dickinson was. And he said horrible things about him, right? And that's kind of been the word. Everybody's been using that. But in the papers he sent and the writings that he had sent back to Britain, he references that and says, why is John Adams being such a jerk to me? I don't understand this, right? We're trying to keep people from dying here, right? And it really twisted around, and it's like, no, John Adams truly was obnoxious and disliked for really good reasons.
American independence is a very interesting story. And if you can give me like 2 minutes, I'll give you the précis.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, let's go for it.
Yeah.
So the kind of before the French Revolution, the biggest event in the 18th century from a white person perspective, from a European perspective, is the 7 Years' War, which is Winston Churchill called the First World War. Right. It's Great Britain and Prussia against basically all of Europe. Russia, France, Spain, Italy, so on and so forth, Austria. Right. And Britain comes out the huge winner in the 7 Years' War. They absorb New France. They push the French out of India, yada, yada, yada. Right. So it's a huge, huge victory for the English. And so at the end of the war, you have, and if you've ever been in a failed relationship, maybe you can identify with this, but you have very strong cross-purpose ideas about what has happened. And the Americans' perspective is that they have done this huge service to the crown because the Americans were the militia that fought the French in North America. So they're like, oh, we've done it. We have defended the empire. Now we're going to get rewarded.
Yeah.
Right. And the British perspective was we spent a huge amount of money defending the Americans against the French in North America. So now it's time for us to get paid.
Yeah.
Right. And that if you look at the numbers, the American colonists were paying like 6 pence a year in tax on average.
Yeah.
And your average British subject back in Great Britain was paying like 65 pence a year in tax. Right. So no, they were actually insanely undertaxed, relatively speaking.
Gotcha.
Right. So there was a very, very fundamental misunderstanding, right? Both America thought they were going to get rewarded for the war, and Britain thought they were going to get rewarded for the war.
Yeah.
And so they came in with very different ideas. And again, after the war, the British were like, all right, now America's going to start paying now that we have like conquered the continent for them, right? And then also, and this is like a realpolitik type thing, because the British absorbed Quebec,
Yes.
right? The French North America. And so their angle on it was, we want to run this as cheaply as possible, so we're going to leave the French alone in Quebec, essentially. We're going to acknowledge the Catholic structure there,
Yes.
and we're going to leave everybody alone there. And the American aspect was that we hate the Catholics and we hate the French. And how can you reward them after we just conquered them? We beat them.
Well, and they expanded Quebec from Canada, what we would
Yes.
now see Quebec, all the way down
Yes.
through North America.
Yeah.
It came down, and that was my character, Richard Henry Lee, is from Virginia, and Quebec took over the western half of Virginia.
Yeah, it goes really far south.
It goes really far south.
Yeah.
It was this huge, it was basically all of what they would call the Indian territories were now Quebec.
Yeah, no, the British angle was, oh my gosh, this is a mess. Let's just leave it alone. We're going to
Yeah.
leave it alone and it's going to be okay. But the American angle was, we just beat them.
Yeah.
We're supposed to get this stuff, right? So just a very fundamental misunderstanding. So, things just escalated and escalated and escalated. And then eventually George III, King George, right, just loses it. And he's like, he has a very famous quote. He says, now blows will decide. He's like, we've had enough of this American intransigence and we're going to beat them. And, King George, he's German. He's the
Okay,
House of Hanover.
okay.
Right? They own most of Western Germany at the time. So it's normal for him to hire Germans. And they did this in the 7 Years' War. Essentially, Britain hired Prussia to fight their enemies on the continent, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually very normal. This is not unusual for them to hire Germans to go and fight for them, right?
Yeah.
But for the Americans, this is like foreigners. You are hiring foreigners to come and kill us, your brothers. So it's a huge deal once the Germans show up. So there was a lot of like, let's try and sort this out. Let's try and resolve this in a peaceful way. But then once the Germans show up, they're like, oh my God, you are hiring foreigners to come and kill us. This is it. This is the end of it. So a lot of people who were not radical, like John Dickinson or whoever have you, became radical because of that.
Yeah.
So it's just, and that's a lot of history, is this kind of an out of control train type thing where everybody misunderstands each other and nobody seems to have like a really solid grasp on it. And it's a shame. It's a shame. It could have been resolved peacefully, but it wasn't.
Well, and the reason we're discussing this is because we are going to be in 1776.
Yeah.
And it is a historical musical. It's actually based on real history, on real books, and a lot of what we hear about John Adams, especially, there was a big book that I think they made the miniseries with Paul Giamatti.
Oh, yeah.
It was based on the same literature and the same letters and stuff that the musical 1776 is based on. And in that one, John Dickinson is the guy that is against independence. And he didn't sign the Declaration.
Yeah.
And he was the only one.
But it was for a good reason.
Oh,
he wasn't crazy.
No, he wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
And of course, for the musical, they have to come up with some villain. There has
A counterpoint.
There has to be a counterpoint to it. And honestly, John Adams isn't the best moral hero that we could use.
But it takes those types. I've learned that in my life. It takes somebody who's really aggressive to get things done sometimes.
Yeah.
If you just go, oh, yeah, that's your opinion, then you'll never get anything done.
Yeah.
But when I mentioned the realpolitik earlier, it's very funny that the American colonists rebelled in significant part, because they hated the French and didn't want the French to have privileges in their territories. And then they allied with the French against Britain. Yeah. So it was, we hate you, Britain, because you're giving privileges to the French, so we're going to ally with France against you. And that's politics, baby.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Well,
That's just how it is.
Yeah, that one's definitely the enemy of my enemy's my friend.
It's true. It's true. They were like, who are the Europeans that can help us?
Yeah.
And Spain is kind of out of the game. They've been declining for a long time. And Germany's very firmly in the pockets of the British. So it's going to be France. So even though we hate the Catholic Church, even though we hate France, they're our guys. It's very funny. It's very funny. This is how it is.
So that's your history lesson for today. Everybody's listening to the podcast. Everybody who's part of the club here. So you just finished Shark is Broken.
Yeah. We just wrapped it up.
Oh, what a great show. And it was a amazing response to that show. We had so many people that loved what the three of you did.
We had such enormous positive response to it.
Yeah.
It was really over the top. So thank you, everybody who came out to see it. I really appreciated it.
Yeah. And thank you to everybody who got to see Skyler in a Speedo.
Yeah.
How was that?
I worked so hard in the gym and tanning, and I never budged from 203, my body weight or whatever. It's so, you're getting older or whatever, it's harder and harder. Roy Scheider wasn't like a bodybuilder or whatever. He was a normal guy.
Yeah.
I gave it my all. My God, but I did. But here's a funny story. In the closing weekend, the Radar Dames came to see the show.
Yeah.
Leslie Corson and Skyler Hansford.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah, no. And they
great people.
They came through the lineup afterwards, and I was like, all right, one professional to another. What notes do you have for me for the stripping?
Okay.
And they're like, oh, you need more horns. We need the big sexy horns, right?
Can you imagine? Oh man, that would take that show to a completely different place late in the show.
I'm swinging the shirt around my head, I'm throwing it into the audience. You were in kind of a stripper show. You were in Gypsy.
I didn't
strip.
I didn't strip.
I
was in. Yeah. The Gypsy is definitely Gypsy Rose Lee.
Yeah.
It's a stripper show.
Yeah. But she's in the classic period where they're doing the sexy horns.
It's burlesque.
Hey boys,
vaudeville.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a good show, Gypsy.
It is my favorite show.
It's a great show.
I think it's the best show ever written.
That's a big claim.
I think it's the best musical ever written.
It's a better show than the Countess of Pocatello.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what that one looks like when we end up.
How can you say that to me? How can you say that?
I said musical. I don't think Countess of Pocatello is a musical.
Well, we have to do the musical adaptation. Once we have the huge runaway success
that's right.
of the straight play version.
So the future version of Countess of Pocatello that is a musical may be better than Gypsy. Okay.
Yeah, I'm making this claim.
Wow.
I'm ready to say this.
Wow.
No, I do love Gypsy. I esteem Gypsy really, really highly. Everything's Coming Up Roses. Mm-hmm. What a banger. What an absolute anthem.
Well, and just a horrific number if you look at it in where it's at in the show. And the whole character of, I'm sorry, I'm going off. The whole character of Mama Rose, I don't think could exist outside of a musical. That character is so specific to that musical, and it can only be told in that way.
We've all met somebody like this, somebody who is
not to that level.
No, it's heightened.
It's heightened,
but somebody who is going to change reality with force of will.
Yes,
somebody who has said, "I've seen what the world is, and I don't like it.
Yeah,
and I'm going to make it change."
But
that's the kind of person that makes things happen.
But in this one, you get the sense that Mama Rose wanted to be in show business, and couldn't do it herself, and so she's living vicariously through her children, and so. But then she has the opportunity when she does Rose's turn. It is her turn. And she does that number, and it's scary. And you realize this is a woman who's falling apart.
Well, we were just talking about John Adams.
Yeah.
Who, like, with force of will is going to change the world. Yeah. Right. So no, these are the compelling characters that make for good theater,
Yep. No, I love that one.
But yeah. We closed Shark is Broken, and speaking of the Radar Dames, I went to the Radar Dames performed at the Temptress on Thursday in Kashmir.
So explain to me the Temptress.
It's a little bar. It's in Kashmir. It's a cocktail bar.
Okay.
Right? And it wasn't a full Radar Dames performance. There were 4 of them.
Okay.
Right. And came out and supported the gang. It's an important principle, supporting live performance rather than just going home after work and watching Netflix or whatever.
That's what we do here at the opening nightclub. That's what we do.
No, it was really successful. It was overflowing.
With people?
There was standing room only.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good for
I had a
them.
stand. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, $5 cover.
Okay.
But they didn't have like a bouncer. Like they just added the $5 onto your bill at the end.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
Keeps the cost down.
Yeah. It was very, very successful. If I was them, I'd be very pleased with myself.
Okay, so the Temptress was a bar or a restaurant?
It's a bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice craft cocktail.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I just order,
Old fashioned.
whiskey and water.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, really successful. And then I worked at the Paperboys event at the ICCA the other day.
And I heard that did very well.
I was told there were over 700 tickets sold.
Wow. And
Huge.
That was
huge.
That was in the Meadow Stage?
Meadow Stage. Yeah.
Okay.
Enormous event.
And how was the weather?
Great.
Okay.
Absolutely great. A little windy.
We've had a couple shows out at the Meadow Stage where the weather hasn't been friendly.
Oh no, it's perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was. I arrived there at like 4:30. I did like an hour of setup, and then I worked parking from 5:30 to 6:30.
Ooh,
Parking is
very Leavenworth Summer Theater of you.
Parking is a core competency of mine these days. Yeah. So I did the I'm doing the hand motions if you can't see it. I used all of my LST tricks for parking people. So then at 6:30 I started working the bar, and we were slammed immediately. And not only did it not stop, it just only started to slacken at like 8:30. It was like Oktoberfest. It was nutso.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm hoping the ICCA pulled it down, because we slang a lot of booze. We really made it happen out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
And
700 people, that's a lot of beer.
Yeah. Assuming, 2 to 3 drinks generally.
And
right?
white wine, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It is ICCA.
Yeah. we had a Chardonnay on. Yeah, really successful event. Paperboys, they have a strong following.
They do, and they've been playing up there for a long 10 years, 15 years.
Yeah, it's been like a standing engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah, but really, really successful. And it was kind of nice also as kind of a person who's aging or whatever. There were a lot of kids there too.
Oh, good.
And the kids were running around in a gang.
It's a very friendly band. I mean, they play very upbeat, friendly music.
Yeah, like Celtic influence, when I was a kid, in Idaho or whatever, that's what, there was always like a kid gang hanging around, and you would glom on, you just like chase each other around or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's obviously less common these days, so it's always nice when I see it. I like to see it,
Yeah. Well, and that's what the Meadow Stage is about. During the summer, they do a lot of stuff up there at the Meadow Stage. Macbeth is going to be there. You're working on the sets for that right now.
We just had a production meeting for Macbeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be an exciting show, folks. Please look forward to it. That's the end of August, Macbeth.
Okay. Well, awesome. Well, I had the opportunity to go to opening night of Sound of Music for Leavenworth Summer Theater.
Opening night club.
It's the opening night club. I was there with Rachel Powers and her husband Adam, and we were able to see the Sound of Music this year. And this might be, we know there's not Sound of Music next year because it's going to be playing at the Paramount on the national tour next year. And so they wouldn't give up rights to Leavenworth Summer Theater to allow it. And they're also having a revival of Sound of Music on Broadway, that it's opening at Lincoln Center.
So many shows are like falling away, and it seems like the Sound of Music just gets bigger and bigger.
It gets bigger. So if that is very successful, we might not be able to see it for a while. So we went to go see it. It's directed by Katie Newberry and
Tell me about this crazy show called The Sound of Music.
I'll tell
Never
you about
heard of it.
Oh, man. I'm going to assume absolutely everybody listening to this podcast has seen The Sound of Music and probably Leavenworth Summer Theater's version of Sound of Music.
That's a safe guess.
And probably something I've directed, one of the years I directed up at Sound of Music. It is a show that's difficult once you've directed it for 5 years, that you can look at it, and I know every single line. I know any changes that are made. I notice the blocking. I see all of it. And so I can get very detailed, some might say picky, about The Sound of Music. This one was directed by Katie Newberry, who's been directing really everywhere. Most recently, she was at the Fifth Avenue directing their kids stage, and it was choreographed by Casey Craig, who has been working at Village Theater in Issaquah, and both of them are great theater professionals and very, very nice people.
And Casey did The Sound of Music here in 24.
Yes.
And then Little Mermaid in 25.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they've been working together, and I think they work together really well. But I told you before, and I came home and I told my wife that I think what Katie's done with this, it's the best Sound of Music I've seen. It's better than anything I've directed. And there were several things where I said, oh, I wish I had done it that way. And it's been a long time since I've gone up to Sound of Music and was able to say that. I think that they've, last time I directed in 22, I think was when I directed.
No, you directed in 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Because we did the Max song.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But we got the new set.
Yeah.
And so I was able to work with a set designer, and they built a new set, and it was big. We had a centerpiece and 2 wings, and we had a full set that we would bring out for the bedroom, and we had the gazebo that would come out from the side.
Yeah.
And there was a lot to it, and it was too much. It made the scene changes really big, and so almost the next year they cut it down. And so on this one, and then 2 years ago, they brought out the pieces that come out in front of the stage. So the stage extensions, which come out on either side of the stairs in the front, they'd been there for a couple years, and they started getting used for Sound of Music.
Yeah.
But on this one, they really fully incorporated it. It felt like it was organic, that it was part of what they did. And so a lot of the blocking felt really good. Katie directed it. The comedy was really heightened in this one, which is something where I've always tried to do that, and had a fantastic Liesel and Rolf interaction on 16 going on 17, where they were able to do the playful flirting, but the awkward flirting and the bits in between, the sideways glances and the giggles and not doing things correctly. I came up during intermission and said, that was awesome. How did you teach them to do that? And she was able to say, well, Central has a really good program, and those kids knew how to do it. They had comic timing, which I think I'm going to say to Skyler, you and I understand comic timing, and we also recognize that there's people who don't, right? Mm-hmm. And most college kids don't. I'm
doing a lot of groans.
I'll just be honest that as I've directed up there's been a lot of times where I'll find somebody who can sing and dance, but then you've got to kind of work them through. Here's how to make this funny, guys. Mm-hmm. And these two were good. They were really funny.
Well, and the Maria was Autumn.
Autumn
beautiful
Manson.
Autumn. Yeah, who is wonderful.
She's wonderful.
Yes.
She did a video audition the last year I directed, and I cast her as the understudy.
Yeah, in 23.
In 23. And once she got to the Hill and we started working, I was like, oh, she's really good.
Yeah.
She's very, even then I was like, oh yeah, she could do Maria very, very well.
And a show like The Sound of Music, it has some shows have like a smaller lead, and some shows have like a bigger lead. Like in The Music Man, Harold Hill is like a big lead, right? And Maria in The Sound of Music is a big lead, right? So if your Maria is good, the show will be good.
Yes.
And Autumn is excellent.
She's excellent. She has a fantastic voice, and she is so kind, and it comes across on stage.
Very genuine.
Very genuine. She's just charming. And so when it comes to people watching it, they have to like Maria.
Yeah.
If there is anything that happens about the show, they have to be rooting for Maria. Mm-hmm. They can dislike the captain, they can dislike Max and Elsa, but they have to like Maria.
Yeah.
And so
she is the show. It's her show.
She is the show.
She opens the show.
And Autumn just did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I loved what she did. The captain, was new to me, but had a fantastic voice and could play guitar for Edelweiss. Yes, we haven't had that in a while.
Dave Harville.
I think it was Harville.
Yeah.
Paul Williams did way back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't normally get a captain who can play guitar for Edelweiss, and he did.
No, not when I was working for them. No.
So it was really, really good. The dance numbers were really good. I had to compliment her that the party scene in the middle of the show was good. And they're using the full original script, which has Elsa saying that she's sick, and Brigida says, I don't think she's sick. Mm-hmm. There's a whole bunch of that stuff, which has always been kind of problematic. And she completely made it work. And
we did that in 23.
Yes.
Yeah.
We tried. I did a few things. There were things that I wasn't completely happy with, but looking at what Katie did, I was completely happy with what she did. You do have to change around. So the goat herd is led by Liesel and not Maria, because Maria has been outed as loving the captain by Brigida. And so she's off changing to have the sad walk away at the end of the act.
I still do prefer having climb every mountain at the end of Act 1.
And I did that in 23.
Yeah.
It just makes the first act so long.
I know, but that's such classical musical theater structure. You end Act 1 with a big song.
Yeah.
And in The Sound of Music, the big song is Climb Every Mountain. That's what you think of, right? Yeah. And I don't know. It's kind of weird to end Act 1 with like her looking sad and doing like the sad Charlie Brown walk away, right? Well, and I know that's the original Henry Hendricks script. I dig it, and there are reasons to do it. So it's perfectly valid. Just I prefer Climb Every Mountain for the Act 1 finale.
Well, and I will mention the one thing that I found weird, and so I had to ask people afterwards, what's going on with this one. And it's the scene that's always been the most difficult part to direct.
Yeah.
And it's the part, really, we've got a minute and a half where the captain has an angry scene with Elsa. She gives back the engagement ring, and then Maria comes and interrupts him. Elsa leaves, and then he confesses his love for Maria, and they kiss, and then they sing Something Good. That scene is always the most difficult because it has to be believable. You have to somehow make the captain and Maria, well, you got to build ahead of time that they're falling in love.
Yeah.
But that's a big switch. I mean, you could almost, a minute later, he hands the ring to somebody else.
That's always been my experience in real life. A woman dumps me, and then within 2 minutes, another woman has shown up. And then I marry her. I've done that 10, 20 times now in life. And it's gone really well. I'm really happy with how my life has turned out.
Yeah, no, that's if you follow music theater, if you use music theater to lead your life choices, that's what happens. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just wait, and Maria shows up.
That's right.
You don't do anything, and she just appears.
So in this one, she shows up, and they've got the creepiest line in the show.
Every captain hates us.
Everyone.
I was in the show for a long time, and every captain go, oh man, I don't want to say this.
And so his line is, when you were a very little girl, did a very little boy ever kiss you?
And it's in the original script. It's not something that was added in later. This is the gosh darn original dealio.
That is the script that says, did a very little boy ever kiss you? Mm-hmm. Well, that's different too. Mm-hmm. And then they go in for a kiss, and she says, oh, that is different.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
It played differently in 53 or whatever.
Yes.
Right. Nowadays people go,
when you were a very little girl? Anyhow, it's difficult.
Yes.
And you've got to figure out, how do I do this? And generally I would make it so that Maria goes in for the kiss, so that it doesn't come across as a pushy male, after he says the very little girl line. Anyhow, so in this one, I'm waiting for it, and they don't kiss.
They don't kiss.
They don't have that line, and they don't kiss, and then they go into Something Good. And so that was something where I looked to the opening nightclub members that were with me, and I said, that was weird. And they were able to say, well, there's more intimacy choreography than when I came up in theater, which is true, right? There are intimacy coordinators on theater shows now, and it's not a role that community theater ever had 10 years ago.
The Countess of Pocatello is going to have Many intimacy coordinators.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no intimacy in the Countess of Pocatello. I wrote it. I will never write a positive heterosexual relationship. Never.
So on this one, afterwards, I had to check in with people who were in the know and say, okay, what's the word on that? And the word I got was they let the actors decide their paths in those scenes, and the stage manager meets up with them each night, and they plan the intimacy choreography for those.
If you feel like you're going to do the blocking or not.
Well, it changes. The stage manager you can do this, but it's a new world to me.
Okay.
That one was something it's like, I mean, I hope if I've directed you and I said, okay, now it's time for the kiss, just do it, that I didn't scar anybody, because I did not realize that I needed to be as sensitive for that as I probably could. I know at least in one situation, it was Liesel's, the actress's first kiss. Mm-hmm. And she did it during rehearsal. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I remember that situation. I was there, and your Rolf was excellent. He was very good.
Yeah.
You know, like it was a very safe situation.
Yeah. No, we try to make it as safe as possible if I see that. But honestly, in the past, it just did not cross my mind.
I remember watching Meet Me in St. Louis, the Julie Garland musical from like the 40s or whatever. Yeah. And Julie Garland like kisses her beau or whatever. Yeah. And her sister gets really mad. Again, this show is from like 44. Yeah. Right. It's the movie with the that the trolley song is from.
Yeah.
Clang, clang, clang with the trolley. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. The show is okay, but that song is a banger. Right. That song is immortal or whatnot. But it is, if you're a musical theater person.
Yeah.
It is a good show.
Yeah.
And I remember that Julie Garland's sister gets big at her for like kissing a boy, and she's like, "You're only allowed to kiss boys that you're engaged to. Mm-hmm. Once you're engaged, then you can kiss, but not until then."
Yeah.
So I always thought, oh, that's like the old-fashioned attitude, right? Yeah. So then in The Sound of Music, they kiss, and that means they're going to get married. And I was like, oh, okay, so yeah, this is the attitude.
That's the attitude.
But now we've moved beyond that.
Well, and on this one, so they did have a kiss at the wedding.
Oh, they did.
They did.
Okay.
And
at the goading of the church. Yeah, the church like, you have to, and they're okay.
You can now kiss the bride. Okay.
You have to now kiss the bride.
No, again, I do not let this take away from anything. I just found it odd, right? Mm-hmm. And just because I do think this is the best Sound of Music I've seen. I would recommend everybody go see it, especially since we're not sure when you're going to be able to see it again up at Leavenworth. It's really, really good. And I will call out Max, who is a completely different Max than I've ever seen up there before. It's being played by a guy who sounds like a Borscht Belt comedian. Mm-hmm. And he is playing Max really big and funny, right? He is just his own guy. He's not necessarily buddy-buddy with the captain, but he's funny and catty and big.
If only we had got good Maxes in the past. Oh, what could have happened if we had funny Maxes in the past? Anything could have happened.
I had never thought of playing Max this big, and it was big, and I kind of loved it. He got very loud with the captain, and the captain got really angry.
Okay.
Yeah, which is something you don't normally see out of the captain. Yeah, he got very big, and between him and Max, just the energy was really, really big and good, and the comedy was big. No, it moved. It did not feel like a show that just opens. No,
great.
It was quite good. If anybody's out there listening and you're thinking about it, you haven't seen it in a while, go up and see Sound of Music, get tickets. Especially, I know that you can't see the opening night, but go and get tickets in July. They don't need to sell tickets in August.
Well, they run for a while here, so you have opportunities.
You've got opportunities, but also the tourist will fill the seats in August, and so be a good opening nightclub member and go see it in July.
All right, so Kevin McKee recommends.
I totally recommend it.
The Sound of Music.
Yeah, and normally it's just something that happens, but no, I'd recommend going to see it.
All right, wonderful.
Yeah.
So then we start rehearsing 1776 pretty shortly here, which opens at the end of July.
Yes.
But in between now and then, Anything Goes opens up.
Yes.
Yes.
Anything Goes opens up on the 15th, I believe.
Okay. And
so
then,
in 2 weeks or a week and a half.
And then Short Shakespeareans is also somewhere in there too.
Yes. So yeah, we've got Anything Goes opening up on the 15th. And then at the end of the month, we have Bright Star and 1776 and Short Shakespeareans opening up.
And we are going to Bright Star, just not on opening night.
Okay.
Right, me and you, opening night club.
Yes.
Yeah. We have it conflicts with 1776.
Yes.
Yeah. So we will be there either August 11 or 18, I believe.
We will figure it out.
Yeah.
And I know that for those of you who have done Sound of Music, this is the 30-year.
Yeah.
And so they're having a 30-year reunion. And so we will have stuff. If you want, go to the Leavenworth Summer Theater webpage, go to the Facebook page, and you can attend the barbecue, the get-togethers that they're having for Sound of Music reunion weekend. I don't know if we're going to be able to go. We've got 1776. Yeah. So, but anyhow, I will throw that out there that I think tickets are probably sold, but it's right about the same weekend. It's like opening weekend for 1776.
Yeah, we opened the final weekend of July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like the weekend where all 3 shows are up finally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, that's what we've got coming up.
Thrilling.
It's thrilling.
Yeah. I mean, we were for a long time in like the rehearsal getting ready period.
Yeah.
And now the shows are finally opening for the summer season.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm very excited about it. So we are recording this right after the 4th of July, and we did have America Sings.
Yes.
That happened at ICCA last night. And apparently it did quite well.
Yeah, I
And
heard good things.
They had a very diverse set of actors, not everybody I was familiar with.
Yeah, some new faces.
Yeah.
I was not there. I was at the fireworks show in Wenatchee, which was fun. I'd never actually been to it before,
Yeah.
And Kylie has a good crew down there.
Yes.
I talked to Kylie. Kylie's got like a gang there, very professional.
They're very into it.
Yeah.
She's got a group of young people that like blowing stuff up, and so they will go down there and run the fireworks show. Kylie's kind of the marshal down there.
No, it was a good show. They did a good job.
Yeah.
Funny story. We were like right under the fireworks where my party was. We were very close, and there was like a family of ducks that were like trapped or whatever. They clearly were not sure what to do during the explosions or whatnot. And some of the people in my party were very concerned about the ducks. And I was like, they're ducks. They'll figure it out. But yeah, I don't know. It's a public park. If the ducks want to watch the explosions, let them.
They were there. They got a really good seat.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people where if they could have been sitting with the ducks, they would have done it.
Maybe the ducks are pro-America. I
think they all are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the ducks are anti-America.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe geese are anti-America because they're Canadian, right?
Oh,
so but ducks are our guys, right?
Yeah.
The ducks are pro-America.
Yeah, I think, mallard, that's American.
Merganser. Let's figure it out. Let's have a duck person on.
We'll
and
have a duck
identify
person on.
Which duck is pro-America and which duck is anti-America.
It would be easy if there was like eagles, if there was bald eagles sitting in there, then it'd be like, okay, they kind of groove on it. But
I think eagles predate upon ducks. I think eagles kill ducks.
Yeah, no.
So maybe ducks are anti-American.
Eagles are predators, Yeah.
Okay, this is very complicated.
I know.
I threw this out there as like a jokey anecdote or whatever, but actually it's quite an issue.
Well, if we had bald eagles that were there, I bet they couldn't have set off the fireworks. Because they're a protected species.
Yeah, the cops would have come in and
they would have
"Nyet."
said, no, you got to delay it. We got to till they leave. Anyhow, okay, so that was 4th of July.
Yes.
We've got a lot of stuff coming up. We've got Go See Sound of Music. We've got a opening night for Anything Goes on the 15th, and more stuff happening at the end of the month. Thrilling. So make sure go out and see the theater, support these shows, support these actors, and whatever you do, make sure you go out and see another opening night.